Oh, well, hello everybody, and welcome to this wonderful episode of yet another bullying. I guess we have a lot of bullies back in the 80s and 90s and so on and so forth, because a lot of these really dealt with revenge of the bullied. And this one, she got revenge really quick. So it was really nice to see that. And a lot of people, mainly the girls, deserved it. Everyone else was just a negative bystander, and not negative, innocent bystander per se, but they also kind of made the issue worse because it didn't help at all. So I guess they all deserved it, except the teacher that was really nice, and she didn't deserve it. But give it, the situation and all this was all crazy. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this. This will be coming out the day after my birthday. I apologize, everybody. I had such a crazy week, but I did watch this movie, and I wanted to discuss just how crazy it was for this to actually happen. Obviously, we're going to be talking about, is it possible for someone to have telekinesis powers and just everything that goes into it. But one way or another, I salute her for getting her revenge, right? And so we'll go ahead and hit the theme song, and then we'll just discuss this movie. Alright, so let's first look at that. This is another adaptation of Stephen King. Again, great author, who really has helped out the horror genre, but we need to really make sure that he is okay. And I bet he is, because he's probably having fun with all this money he's received through the selling of his books, through now him giving the okay to use his books to be adapted into film. And now we just have this great look into someone's crazy imaginative mind, because we have what other movies have we looked at that were his? I don't know. Well, he has a whole list of things, but It was one of them. And then now we have Carrie, who really bases off on just, again, how we talked about a girl being bullied. Now, let's look into this whole bully scenario, because I feel like the film has really made it very exaggerating when it comes to bullying, but I don't think they exaggerated too much, because I recall bullying being pretty heavy prior than to all this, stop bullying and all this stuff, right? Like I remember even in the early 2000s, I growing up, I being bullied, bullying at times. It could have been a little bit rough, not as rough as these ones were, like they were just maiming them. But again, I didn't grow up in the 80s. I didn't grow up in the high school time of the 80s or 90s, because I was born in the 90s, so I didn't really know how the dynamic was prior to that. So I'm not sure if it was really that mean. But in this instance, they have to kind of exaggerate it just to make the reason of her attack a lot more justified. But we get, this one outcast girl who unfortunately was an outcast due to her mother. It wasn't even like her fault herself. The mom just went like, I don't know how to explain it this way. She just went like really crazy, and that led for her to, really shelter or create Carrie's personality in a way of being awkward and not knowing certain things. of her life, of just normal social dynamic, as well as even her physical body, right? So we get the first thing that I thought was just ridiculous in this movie was the whole nudity scene. Like, I get that they were building up to have Carrie, like, freak out because she had her first period at whatever age. I think she was like 16 or so, like, but she was pretty older to actually have it. But it just wasn't really needed. She could have had the period in a classroom. Like, she could have been. I think it would have been a lot worse because you're not just having the girls in the locker room making fun of her. You're also gonna have a whole other student body actually being like, "Whoa, like, what's going on with you?" So I feel like that would have probably even been a bigger push to the bullying. But anyway, we get this whole ridiculous scene that they're in the showers, which also made me think of, like, was it really a requirement after gym class back in 1976? So we're looking at 70s, 80s, 90s. Was there a requirement to shower after? We had the discussion the last episode with the faculty, where the football player went to go shower. Again, there's no security. Anybody can walk into those locker rooms. There's really no privacy. Anybody can really see you naked if you actually do get naked. And so I don't know if that was just something that they did, but I thought it was just very weird. I'm glad I didn't have to do it. Like, we just sprayed on Axe, and once I got home, I would then take a shower, right? Like, that just, I don't know. I don't know if that was just something that they did before, and if they did, please let me know, because I want to make sure that it's accurate, or if they just added it to say, like, oh, there's showers here for a reason. I don't know. Anyway, so we get this whole point that she's showering, and then she gets her first period, which she freaks out, which I know it's a really big step for women to get their first period. But as I was discussing kind of just this whole scenario with my wife, like, she told me that most of the times that a period does arrive, it's a lot earlier than the normal age, or not normal age, but like, you're looking at 11-ish, right? Some maybe a little bit sooner, some a little bit like around 12 or 13. So we're looking like early teens, right, is when it kind of happens, and it's just a simple teaching method. But we're talking about this girl who was brutally scarred by the mom. So I'm guessing her body just kind of delayed it until she was, I think, like mid high school age. So like I said, like, she was like either 16 or 17, had her period. Kind of freaked her out, which for anybody getting blood in their private parts would probably be pretty crazy. But the way that the teacher calms her down was the most ridiculous but funny thing ever, because she tried her best to keep her calm, but then she just like slapped her, like, to like say, "Relax, Carrie," And it reminds me of that scene from Airplane, if anybody has ever seen Airplane. So you can tell I am born in the 90s, but I loved Airplane. That came out in the 80s. But this lady on the airplane was freaking out, and so they just told her to, like, they would grab her and then slap her, saying, "Calm down," and she kept freaking out. And so there was like a whole line of people who just wanted to slap her. So I felt like that's exactly how it was here, where just like the teacher was just like she just couldn't handle it and just slapped her and calmed her down. But we get then that basis of now Carrie is, everybody knows what she's doing, especially these girls that were in the locker room who are like the number one bullies of all bullies. And they just really don't like Carrie for being awkward. I just feel like that hatred was just because they wanted to have it. I don't know. I felt like it was just unjust to hate her. Like, she really wasn't bothering anybody. She was just there. Like, yes, get mad at her in gym class because she didn't grab the ball, or she didn't hit the ball the way it should have, or she missed it, or she doesn't know how to play. Like I can get getting mad at that part if you're a competitive person, but really hating someone because they're just awkward, I think it's just not right. Like, she didn't really do anything. She was just being normal. Anyway, so now she's all traumatized because she had her period there. Now she has to tell her mom, which her mom, we end up realizing, is like the biggest Jesus freak per se, right? And I'm not talking about like how Christianity makes you a Jesus freak or anything. I'm just saying that through her trauma, the mom just went really like you commit a sin, you get whipped type of thing, like very extremist. So we see that she's really getting down on this whole, like, you having your period because you sinned, which obviously is more damaging to Carrie because it's not that she fornicated, but it's just it happened. So the mom really didn't help out a lot. And then we kind of noticed that Carrie was already having some psychic power. Like, she was already moving something. So, like, I feel like this is one of those scenarios where, like, she has magical powers. Like, she's a wizard. But because everybody, or mainly her mom, doesn't want her to be a witch and use her magical power, she holds it in and becomes an obscurus. So if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you're probably not a big Harry Potter nerd like I am. But that's exactly how I kind of got it. Like, she has these powers, and or if you've probably seen Matilda, it's kind of like the same thing, right? Like, you get mistreated throughout your family, so you kind of just withhold everything inside, and somehow that creates this power within you. So now we're also dealing with the bullies at school. We're dealing with her becoming just a normal woman with a period, and then the mom, who's probably another cause for her to have these powers that will then be used later on. And for anybody who listens to this and anybody who watched this, I know there's been history. There's been times you have seen many people who have gone super crazy with the word of God, and to the extreme as this mother did. But not all of us are that way. Like, we respect you, we love you, we believe in God, we believe in Jesus. But just know we don't really do all that crazy, like, because you sinned and all that stuff. Just know it's not like that. But there have been crazy people. So, like, this whole writing, I could probably believe it. Anyway, so now the teacher, what I loved about the teacher and what sucked about the fate of the teacher was that the teacher was actually really trying to be the helper for Carrie, right? She was shocked that she got her period at the time that she did. She talked to her. She was very nice. Like, she did everything possible. She was the mother that Carrie really needed in her youth. And so she took it under her control to punish the bullies, to punish all the girls, which I was really proud of. Like, I really liked that she really put her foot down and said, like, no, you cannot be treating someone this way. And it was really nice to see that. And like I said, it's a sad ending just because how everything turns out. She was super excited. She did everything possible to protect Carrie. Like, she would talk to when that one guy asked Carrie for the prom, like, the teacher was straight out in their face, like, both the boyfriend and like the one who's asking and the girlfriend who was like, why are you doing this? This is not a game. You are not going to take her. Like, she's a very innocent girl. Like, she was very protective. She's exactly what the mother should have been. So I really loved the fact that she did her goodness in here. But unfortunately, she was caught in the innocent bystanding of what they did to her later on. And we'll get to that. But anyway, so because she puts because she punishes the bullies for all their, mischievous and hurtful things they did to Carrie, now the bullies are wanting to get, well, one of the bullies, so the main bully, and I forgot her name, but no one cares about her. But the main bully now is just wanting to get revenge because she had to, run and do all the workouts that had to be done, right? Everyone else kind of just realized, you know what, we're done with this, the main chick and her being a bully. Like, we understand why we got punished. We're gonna take it. And I think that's the reason why that one girl wanted Carrie to have a date for prom and even go out there, because I think she felt like, you know what, she's been an outcast. It wasn't her fault. Like, I think it's time to give her something good. Because in the end, she wasn't even, her and her boyfriend, who ended up asking her, I don't know if it was her boyfriend or not, who ended up asking, they weren't really looking to do anything like negative to her. They just wanted her to have a good time. That was basically it. They weren't part of any plan to destroy the night, right? Like the other girl did. I think they just really thought, hey, we've done all this and this girl needs kind of a break. Let's give it to her, right? But now we have this other girl who obviously says, nope, I'm going to get back at her because it's her fault that I'm running, which in technicality, it wasn't her fault. It's your fault for being the bully. You deserve the punishment, no one else. But anyway, she gets John Travolta, which I didn't know John Travolta was in this movie, so I think this was way before he got any bigger. But now she's going to help him, or convince him to do some bad stuff to Carrie. But I love the way that how it gets to the point that he helps. So first, I don't know how easy it was to get alcohol for teens back then. I know for my youth, it took a lot of convincing. Most of the times it was someone who had an older sibling that could purchase the beer or the alcohol, or there was just always someone older that was willing to do it. But in these movies, they never really explain this, so somehow they always have alcohol. So there's that. What I always ask, like, how easy was it to get it back then? Two, she keeps calling him like a dumb shit, and he slaps her for calling him that. And I thought that was so funny, because then after that, she like kind of calms down, like they calm down, and then she still continues on being there. Like, if it were now, I think she would have been super pissed for being slapped. She would have left. There would have been a whole ordeal over it. Like, it would have gone on for months, maybe years. I don't know. There would have been a lot of reprimand of him slapping her for that. But the fact that he slapped her and then she's like, you know what? No, I'm sorry for calling you that, and look, I need your help. Like, it was just like, man, she really didn't care that she got slapped, but she really wanted, like, her revenge was a lot more important than her dignity. So anyway, all women out there, respect yourselves. Like, if someone hits you, don't just stay there. But anyway, there's one thing that you need to understand. It's very easy to convince a guy to do something for you. Obviously, we can tell John Travolta just got head, and he was like, I'll do whatever you need me to do. That's how easy it was. That's how easy it is. I don't know how easy it can be. But basically, this movie was just like, I can call you whatever you want. You can slap me. But once I give you head, you're going to do what I want to do. And he's like, yep, I'll do it. Simple as that. That's exactly how it goes. He even goes to the point of, like, breaking into the farm to get the pig. So, like, that's how powerful that it was. And so now we have their plan, which does not go with anybody else's plan, but it's only them two, or mainly her. But then she dragged John Travolta and the other girl who was nosy about it. So now we got the plan that they're gonna dump it on Carrie, but how they have to do that is, again, they have to then rig the election and be able to get her to actually win prom queen. So they're planning all this out, which sucks, right? So while they're planning all this out, we're getting this awesomeness of Carrie, who is one getting asked out to go to prom by this guy. She's never done it. She's freaked out. It's never happened to her before because, again, she's the outcast. But when the teacher finally gets to the bottom of, like, why did that guy ask her? Is this real? Is this not? Like, when she finally understands, like, you're not going to hurt her, she convinces her, like, hey, this guy really wants to take you out. I say, do it, and you deserve it. Like, get dressed, get all prettied up. If you need a dress, I'll help you out. Like, do all the things you want to do for this night because it's a special night and you deserve it. So we get Carrie, who finally thinks, okay, I'm going to get this, I'm going to go on a date. The guy talks to her. They kind of, like, get into an agreement of going on to the dance and everything. And so then she even makes her own dress. She does all this and that. And then she does something awesome that I will discuss after the break. Hey man, I love your shirt. Where did you get it? Oh, this one? I got it from my favorite podcast. I'm scared. Head to Etsy and search for Geo's Thoughts to purchase a one-of-a-kind horror films thrill me shirt. They have all sizes for both men and women. A link will be provided on this episode's details. And we're back. Alright. So where was I? Oh, yes. So Carrie finally gets the courage to stand up to her mom. I loved that whole part because the mom, again was like, if you go with that boy, bad things are gonna happen, and everything's Satan trying to get you. And this reminded me of the water boy, like everyone is of the devil, like everything that she said was your mama is the one who invented, like, Benjamin Franklin is the devil. And that's exactly what the mom was like. No, he's a messenger from Satan who's trying to send you to hell and have you fall into temptation, all this and that. Like, she just went all crazy, and Carrie finally stood up to her. I was very proud of her. She was just like, no, mama, he is not bad. He is good, and I want to be normal, and I want to actually go to this dance. It was so awesome to see just, like, how, one, when you have a loving person behind you, giving you good encouragement, how that can really make greatness in someone. And when I say that, I hope you're understanding. I'm talking about the teacher. If it weren't for that teacher, if she wasn't there telling Carrie, like, you're an awesome, girl, and you can go to this date, you can do this, you can do that. Without her being that, I don't think Carrie would have been able to stand up to her mom. But because she had someone in the school system who was willing to take out, even put their career on the line, because punishing the girls could have caused, a damage to her career, but putting her career on the line to really tell someone that was an outcast to say, you know what, you're not, you're part of the group, you are here, you're important. And for her to be able to do that, that's awesome. And I think that's exactly why Carrie was able to say, like, Mom, you know what, we're done. I want to do this. I want to feel normal. I want to get rid of my social anxiety. And I want to talk to people. And I want to be part of these groups. It was really nice to see that. And she left. The mom went super crazy. Like, crazy as it can be. And I'm glad Carrie wasn't there during that time. But obviously she had to get it later on. But yeah, the guy came. I was worried, I was worried the whole time. I know she has to make it. So don't get me wrong. I know the whole plot of the story. She has to make it to the prom. All the bad stuff have to happen. But when I was sitting here, she just stood up to her mom, and I was just, like, very nervous. Very nervous the guy wasn't going to show up. Like, I feel like that was just something that was going to lead to the guy not showing up. But he did. So that was really nice. It was really good. Again, because they didn't have a bad agenda. They just wanted to give her that good, just one good night for her to enjoy. So now she stood up to her mom. The guy came. Now they're heading to the prom. And the prom was really nice. They discussed, they talked about different things, realized that they had a lot in common. So it was nice that he had he actually put the effort to discuss, normal things, not just making it very awkward or anything like I'm here being forced. Like, he actually was genuine, and that really helped her, feel more into her, her skin, and be able to have the conversation. You just realize he's a really good guy, just hanging out with the wrong crowd, right? And that normally can happen, right? We're at the prom. Obviously, back in those days, there wasn't any DJs. I think DJs were created later on, around the 80s or 90s. So we have a live band, really nice, good music. And then it's time to crown the king and queen. And I love it that Carrie was already in her mind knowing they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it because it's Carrie, right? She in her mind knows, yeah, I'm with you. You may be the popular dude. You may be, in the football team. I don't know what he really did. But I know it's not going to be me. Like, 100% it's not going to be me. And he was just like, yeah, you never know. Like, you never know. And if we do, we don't. It doesn't matter, right? Well, obviously it got rigged, and they did win, which was really great. It was good for her to be able to be like, wow, like, people actually really thought of me as their queen. And it was beautiful to see how she felt. They put on the crown. You see how happy she was. I feel like that was like a wonderful moment to see, like, wow, like, these type of awards can really make a difference to someone who's feeling really left out. I don't know how the voting was done in my school. I honestly was probably not even paying attention to it. I just don't know how it was. We didn't vote like this, like, at the school. It was done prior, like a week after or a week before the dance. They said who was already the king and queen and the runner-ups and all that stuff. I don't know how we voted that because I honestly didn't vote, and if I was supposed to, I don't know. I vote now when I have to, but I really don't know how. But here they did it at the school. She was able to get it. And it was really nice that everybody was really applauding. Like, everybody was really like, yay. And then we realized the bucket's right under her, right? The bucket gets released, and it lands on her. Now, the one thing that makes a huge difference between this is that in her mind, she has what her mom was talking about. Like, everybody's going to laugh at you. So all the negative things, right? When something bad happens, everything negative that you tried to push out rushes in. And that's what happened to her. She hears her mom's voice. Everybody's going to laugh at you. Everybody's going to, make fun of you. And she just starts imagining everybody laughing at her. And that's not true. It wasn't true. Like, everybody was just like, like, the only ones who kind of laughed were, like, John Travolta and the other girl, because they were the ones who did it, and maybe just one other girl in the crowd. But everybody else was just like, oh my gosh, like, what happened? Like, if you notice it, everyone's there. But in her mind, she's imagining even the teacher laughing. It's the one that had her back laughing. And then all of a sudden, her powers just got loose. And everybody in that building died. Crazy. And most of it wasn't, like, crazy. Like, a couple hits there, a couple hits there. Like, people were getting shot. And then in the end, they all burned alive. I think they did burn alive. There were some who were already dead. This guy who was the innocent bystander, the one who took her out, died. He died kind of funny. Like, the bucket fell on his head, and that's how he died. I'm not sure if that bucket really was that heavy to hit him. Probably knock him out. But, like, he just died. Everyone else just kind of, she made it very clear that if you mess with me, you're gonna die. And she did everything possible to get everybody away from the door using the fire hose. And that fire hose, I'm not sure if the fire hose can kill you. Maybe like you getting thrown and then hitting your head hard on the ground can kill you, but a lot of people died because of that. And then she just left, leaving that whole building to burn. And she goes home. Where now that she's done with that, where she even like takes the time to bathe, take out all the blood, or the pig blood, all right, not everyone else's blood, but at least the fake blood off of her. She gets nice, in her PJs, goes to talk to her mom, say, "Mom, I'm sorry, you were right, everybody laughed at me." And I guess Cuckoo Mama over here is like, "Don't worry, I'll save you," and then stabs her daughter. And then, of course, the daughter's like, "Well, I'm not going to have this happen again." And so she just collapses the whole house with them in it. She kills the mom, of course, before. And then she collapses the whole house with them in it. Now, I feel like there was a different alternative ending on this one where she kind of just drives away, but I'm not sure if that's the new version, or if it was this one, just a different scene. But I do remember there was a time that she did get away from it all, but I'm not sure if it was this one. But anyway, in this version that I watched, I watched this on Amazon Prime. I keep forgetting to tell you guys that. But yeah, she buries it and she's done, right? That's exactly how it dies. And the only one who basically survived was the girlfriend of the boy who asked Carrie out. And she's scarred because she went to the dance to kind of see everything go well, right? She just wanted to make sure that Carrie was having a good time with her man, and she knows they weren't going to cross any barriers. But then, again, the teacher saw her, and she had forbade her to come to the dance, so that while she was kicking her out, she realized, that's when the bucket fell, and everybody just ended up dying. And so now she's scarred because this happened, and then she has this whole scenario where in her dream, she goes to visit Carrie's, or where Carrie's house is. And when she puts a flower there, Carrie's hand pops up, right? And then she wakes up like freaking out, like a lot of movies have done with that. Like even like When a Stranger Calls, she has the same kind of thing, not where the hand pops up, but where the killer is like right behind the door and stuff like that. And she wakes up and starts freaking out, and everybody has to kind of calm her down. And that's exactly how it ends. So the question comes to, do we think Carrie's dead, or is she gonna come alive like Freddy Krueger, or come alive like Jason, where now that she's kind of buried there, she can come back whenever? Maybe she will be the one who seeks revenge off of anybody who bullies someone, and so she can come back and be like, "How dare you?" Like she can be that type of ghost, right? But anyway, it looks like she's not dead. But unfortunately, if she is dead, that's how it ends. She got her revenge, killed everybody of the student body, and the teachers, and then took herself out and her mom. And so the moral of the story is, don't be mean, be nice. We gotta figure out a good medium of where we need to be. But if you're being ridiculous, we have enough power to tell you don't be ridiculous, right? Like we want to be your good friend and support you, but if you're crossing the line, we'll let you know. There's lines, there's rules for a reason. Don't cross it. Come on. But let's all be nice. I think if we do that, I think it will make everything a lot better. We'll be able to live in a more harmoniously way. And just like the good old song said, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Like, it's just that simple. But unfortunately, that was the end of this sad tale. Great for her. Maybe Matilda doesn't take the side of killing everybody. Hopefully she grew up and was more of a help than than a murderous person like Carrie was. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and we will see you next time.